Hey there, West Michigan. Thanks for watching 13 Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens. Hope you've had a great weekend so far. We'll get to that forecast here in just a moment, but first we want to go ahead and take a look at some developing news here this evening. Emergency crews have been responding to a massive pileup on I-96 in Ionia County. 13 on your sides, Josh Albertus has been in the Portland Township area this evening. That's near where the crash happened, and he's been providing us with details. We've got these photos of the accident. Take a look at all those cars just at a standstill there in the road. The highway has been closed down in both directions now for several hours. This crash happened in the eastbound lanes, closing about 3 miles of highway between Grand River and Portland Township. Then not long after, Michigan State Police say that's when the other crash happened in the westbound lanes. The freeway has now been shut down again in both directions throughout most of the evening. We spoke to one driver who experienced what conditions were like near the time of the crash.
I was traveling westbound on I-96 with my daughter. We were on our way to Ionia, just before the accident happened, and road conditions were actually really good at the start. It was, the sun was shining and the roads were clear. Traffic was moving, full speed, 65, 70 miles per hour, and within a matter of moments, it just turned white.
Now, the time of recording, about 9:30, both lanes were still closed down east and westbound, blocking traffic on 96. You can also see a good amount of yellow elsewhere on the traffic map as conditions still remain tricky here this evening when it comes to travel and wintry weather. Now, some good news to report. As of now, no one has lost their lives, according to reports from this pileup, but information on injuries is still unknown. Also, when the highway is going to reopen is still unknown. We're going to continue to follow this story throughout the evening, keeping you up to date with the latest on 13 on your side, 13 Plus, and on 13onyourside.com. Now, speaking of the weather conditions that led to all of this trouble on the roadways across West Michigan, it is the lake effect snow that continues with the wind blowing across West Michigan. With those conditions in mind, winter weather advisories remain in place across the entirety of the 13 on your side viewing area. These will be in place until 2 a.m. on Sunday morning before they go ahead and expire. Winter weather impacts, the highest category continuing here this evening will be wind chills, but periodically visibility will also take a pretty big impact from the blowing snow. This is hit or miss when it comes to the travel impacts. So go through areas where things are completely fine and then immediately go into another where visibility is quite low. So travel impacts in the medium category due to the intermittent nature, but the winds and the snow certainly causing issues across the region this evening. Even still, as of the 9:30 hour, low visibility reported in Grand Rapids at 2 miles, snow and visibility under a mile in Muskegon, at a mile in Fremont. So these poor travel conditions will continue through the overnight, with conditions not improving until we get past these lake effect snow bands and things quiet down as we head toward tomorrow. The other thing we've talked about today has been the cold temperatures. 27 was our high this afternoon, or actually earlier in the day today. Those temperatures really didn't warm up at all throughout the day. We should be around 45 this time of the year, not even close to it this afternoon. Told you 27, hit 27 though. That is a bullseye for today, and now the 6th day in a row inside that 3-degree mark. Another fun fact to point out here with that high of 27 puts it in the top 10 coldest ever March 18th on record. That would get us there to about spot number 6, with the coldest on record being 17 degrees all the way back in 1939. Good news here, weather ball is lit up in red because warmer temperatures are ahead, blinking bright as snow chances continue through tonight. View the 13 weather ball sponsored by Countryside Greenhouse of Allendale. As of about 9:30, those temperatures still bitterly cold out there. 20 in Grand Rapids and Ionia. The feels like temperatures though is where it really gets bad. Feels like 9 in Grand Rapids, 8 in Big Rapids, 13 the feels like in Muskegon, and we're not going to see a lot of improvement as we head through this evening because winds are going to stay on the gusty side out there. They've been around that 10 to 20 mile per hour mark through most of the day. The gust earlier this afternoon at times were between 30 to 40. Those have come down some, with gusts now peaking at about 28 in high Holland, but we will still see the wind remain quite breezy through tonight and then pick back up with some of the gusts as we head toward tomorrow. Gusts come down in the overnight hours, but as we get into the day on Sunday, we'll see wind gusts back in that 20 to 30 mile per hour range, and that's going to keep wind chills cold as we head through the second half of the weekend. Single digits to low teens as we head through tonight, with wind chills finally coming up some as we head through the day tomorrow, but that's mostly because the temperatures also rise. We're still going to be feeling about 10 to 15 degrees colder than the actual air outside. Here's the day planner. Lake effect snow continues tonight. Temperature down to 21. Sunday, we'll see clearing skies, still windy, 36 your high. Monday, partly cloudy with rain and snow. A quick little burst possible in the overnight, but this will largely be without impact. High to 44 for Monday afternoon. As of 9:30, here is the radar across West Michigan. Still fairly heavy lake effect snow bands pushing through. In fact, you can see some of those dark blues out there on the radar across Kent, Ottawa, and Muskegon County. This is what's going to cause those brief reductions in visibility, and of course that combines with the wind. The whole reason we're dealing with this snow out there. Lake effect snow bands streaming off of Lake Michigan. We put the wind particles on, and you can see those bands pretty much fall perfectly in line with the way the wind is blowing here this evening, and that's what's going to keep the snow threat in place as we head through tonight. Watch what happens though through the next several hours. Lake effect snow starts to dissipate as we get past midnight tonight, and by the time we head closer to sunrise tomorrow, it's really only a few straggling flurries that we're left to deal with. The wind though again does still continue through tomorrow, so wind chills will be cold, but good news here, watch the clouds. They start to dissipate and sunshine comes out by the afternoon. In fact, going to be a pretty sunny end to your Sunday. Not a bad way to end the weekend, but it will be one that you need to still bundle up for. As we head into Sunday night, things stay mostly clear. Temperatures will be rather cold as a result, but as we work our way toward Monday, southerly flow will help to bring temperatures back into the 40s. Cloud cover on the rise just a bit. We'll turn more toward partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, and then here comes that quick little burst of some rain, possibly some snow as we head into Monday night. Again, this comes through without any real impact, and then we're back to mostly dry weather as we head into the day on Tuesday. Southerly flow going to keep the temperatures on the rise. In fact, we're expecting 50s to come not long after the first official day of spring has sprung. Snowfall between now and then, though, could still pick up another 1 to 2 inches in the heaviest lake effect bands across West Michigan. This is going to be one of those cases where you may have not too much where you live, but you travel a couple miles down the road, you get into that band, and you see a pretty decent amount of accumulation. Already seen many 2 to 4 inch reports across West Michigan from the last 24 hours, and that's where I suspect most places will end up, though a few people may outperform those numbers when it comes to final snowfall totals. Temperatures for your Sunday, they will largely be pretty uniform across the region. We're talking mid-30s for most of the lakeshore. Windy conditions as skies clear for the afternoon. More mid-30s for our northern zones. Temperatures, again, 36 from Grand Rapids down to Kalamazoo. That winter weather advisory expires again at 2 a.m. on Sunday. 13 on your side, 10-day outlook. Temperatures again responding very appropriately for the first day of spring. We're up to 44 as we head through that day on Monday. Tuesday up to 52. We'll stay in the 50s with some rain through most of this upcoming work week. Then temperatures fall slightly heading toward next weekend with a little bit of rain snow possible Friday night into early Saturday. May see a little bit of accumulation on Saturday from the system. Temperatures back into the upper 40s for the end of next weekend with another little burst of rain and snow as we close out the 10-day. You've been updated on the latest forecast and weather conditions here in West Michigan. You can always follow the latest news online at 13onyourside.com or by downloading the 13 on Your Side news and weather apps. For now, thanks for watching 13 Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens.